continue from the last video. Sorry to cut that off, and you had to go to the next one here. Hopefully you found it and you got your way here. I just wanted to mention again that when you go over to, if you want to get your $10 bucks, free to start. Let's say you go into 10 different $1 head-to-head contests using, a lineup or similar to my lineup if you want, if you have to, but try to make it a little bit unique, just so that you can get some different results. You just go here to wealthyfantasyfootball.com. I leave the link in the description here in the last video and this video as well, and you can just click on here, right here where Drew Brees has a little video, and you get started. Then here, as you see, just referring you as my friend to get your $10 reward, and also you'll earn your $10 back rake free if you join and play. You get $100. I think it's either $100 or 100 lineups contests. And if you want to enter more in those at some point during a month or the course of a month, then you just upgrade to the $5 a month or $6 a month subscription, so you can do all you want. And of course, when you're making money, doubling up your cash and not having that 10% taken out for the rake. The charge, of course, for the site, other sites like DraftKings and FanDuel, then you have more money in your pocket. All right, so moving on here to try to get, we went over, as an example, the stack with Mayfield, starting with the quarterback. If you want to take him into a percentage of your tournament, great. But we're looking at other stats we can possibly get here to project. If we can find anything else useful at this time, at least. I believe later on in the week, at some point, they'll add in like rushing touchdowns. They have passing yards. Let's see here. Passing yards, passing tutties, pass completions, rushing yards. We looked at already in the last video. Carries, receiving yards. This is interesting as well. Perhaps receptions. You can get projected number on that. But, you can also just look up, of course, as well at the data over here, and like if you have also want to get the draft dashboard, you can get that on the site, wealthyfantasyfootball.com. This shows everything kind of nicely, where you can look at here the targets, give you a better idea. This is really just basics 101 type stuff. But if you came to positions of wide receiver, as we want to try to preferably find a wide receiver to stack with Mayfield in that scenario I talked about in the last video, where he's putting up, let's say, an extra touchdown, giving you 3, which is great for your stack. You just have to next figure out, according to a projection, who that would go to. Of course, the number one receiver is Beckham. You can go with him as a primary option. He's getting almost 100% of the snaps. Well, I'm sorry, this is the percentage started. So in the season long, he's getting touch percentage of 14%. So it is almost still 100% of the snaps. Over here is projected for 17.6. That's fine. And the fantasy points he scored so far in the year in 3 games is just about 57 points, where he's doing well already. And he can use some targets, of course, around an average of 10. I see right here, 10 targets a game is enough. Hopefully he'll get some deep looks or some run after the catches to score you in that way. So then we got to find a second receiver, though. Let's order it up as far as teams. See what our options are. There is, of course, Landry. We have to look at as a second option if we want, if we think it's possible where both these guys get in on the actions. He's got 9, 7, and 7 targets. So that's pretty good. He's getting over 6 targets a game. And we know that he can mix it up. He can get into some trick plays. You never know what they've got in the works, scripted and whatnot, or unscripted, as Mayfield can put it outside the pocket, roll out, and throw to these guys, and hopefully, I really hope, get back into his game and play it his way. The only other guy here I'm seeing that's getting anything on this team, any significance here as far as snaps, is Ratley, as the other guy is apparently hurt and not in the game. So it looks like the usual third option is out. So these are your 2 best options. As far as a tight end, it's hard to trust anyone, you know, to stack Mayfield with. But let's give it a look. So we're just waiting for our tight ends to load. We could also, this gives you a general overview of all the basic stats, but you could also get into more depth and detail if you go over to the research station and you pull up wide receivers and particularly, getting end zone looks. I know the team itself hasn't been particularly good, but we're looking for that change if we choose this type of stack. So red zone, let's say target percentage inside the 20 for a particular team. In addition to all the data, we're just looking at data from different angles to give ourselves the best idea what we want to do, where we want to go. So we can click on Cleveland. And if you can try to get more than one stack, obviously on FanDuel you cannot do really any of those sites. You can't do more than one quarterback. So obviously you got to stake your claim, choose a quarterback, choose his receivers. Then you want a secondary build of another stack, perhaps a running back with a low opposing team total. For example, this week the Chargers, maybe the running back Eckler is an idea, or you do an offensive stack on another team. For example, San Diego, maybe the guys are getting the ball there, like Eckler and Keenan Allen, could stack very well. Or you can go on the opposing side and do a game stack with Lamar Jackson, that I mentioned in the last video, and decide where to go with that. If you want to get away from kind of where people are going to go with Ingram this week, changing the script on that game if it becomes close, like I mentioned in the last video within the 7, as I am taking not taking the Ravens in 7, but rather taking the Browns, showing that game script would change. Therefore, Jackson would need to do his thing and get other guys involved in that offense, perhaps Marquise Brown, the other receiver they have. So Willie Snead maybe. So anyways, looking at the offensive output, finish this video up. Inside the 20, we got Landry, Ratley, and then Beckham. So, let's logically think about this. We got Beckham. We've only got a total of 8 attempts inside the 20 red zone, right? But red zone wise as far as passing. So, in fact here, this inside the 10 target percentage doesn't add up to 100%, interestingly. The inside the 20 doesn't either. So there's obviously someone else who's getting targets inside, as it tells you here. This doesn't add up to 100%. There's someone else who's getting targets, a tight end or a combination of a tight end and running back that they're also getting. So then you might want to, investigate and see who else is getting targets inside the 20 on this team that you could also consider in a stack scenario. So we'll look at that real quick. But the leader here is Landry, but I expect Beckham to get more involved. That's just a logical way for them to do so, to give him more than 8%, 10%, 11% inside the 10. So let's look at real quick out of curiosity for the Browns now, who's getting those touches inside the 20. Probably their main back, Chubb, as he can also look to bounce back so far this year, hopefully. Let's see. So there's only two backs on the roster, maybe. Dearness Johnson. Then pulling it over here to the red zone receiving. We got a percentage of 8%. Checking out there with Chubb. And then let's look at the tight ends, because we definitely need a touchdown one way or another, unless we get a long play, a bomb or something. Inside the 20. On tight ends as well. Oh, we need to pick the team. Okay. Narrow that down. We got Demetrius Harris. I just want to see what it's at. 22%. So we can consider him as well. In fact, he's got 2 targets inside. Interestingly, the inside of 10-yard line. So you could stack them up as well. Go those guys. These how you find your guys. Use all your tools. Start with your NFL odds. Get a consensus. You could help obviously get some more analysis right here in places like this to see help you decide if you're undecided as far as where some of these games and the game flow will go. And then you can just check out your here. Go to set up a free account here, by the way, on your sports site for the player props. You go over your player props, and I think that is about it that I would need to show you as far as everything to do to get started and to have a successful time going about it and have some fun and enjoy that success with it. All right, take care.